Yeah, because what I don't catch in the note, I want to go back to the recording.
That's smart. It's very smart. Well, we got it covered for you now.
Say that again?
We got it covered for you now.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Okay, so it's my turn today. I can't escape this.
I know, thank you. Thank you for covering it. I'll take next week for sure. I just had to get that test done.
I'm guessing we all read the story already, so we're just going to jump to the questions, right?
Let's do it. Yeah.
So who wants to go first? What would you tell Alan about his current problem, based on what we have read, or if you want us to read it again?
And I looked at the problem, and I looked at it two different ways. It's like, okay, are we talking about his problem from the medication or the anxiety and depression? But I started with the problem from the medication.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think because that's what he's having embarrassment and being bothered by.
Right.
I would address both if
Okay.
possible, but I mean, I think that that's his situation right now.
Right, and I said I would inform him that is like a side effect of that medication,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Okay.
and that we should consider looking at something else that does not have that side effect, since that is such a concern for him.
I think one thing though, they don't necessarily cause impotence or they can do impotence, but libido is affected by like a whole slew of medications.
Psychotropic medication, yeah, that's like a common thing, yeah.
One, I think, I can't remember, I think that I read, it's Wellbutrin that we talked about last week. Does not have that side effect.
Oh, okay.
Or it's not.
Say that again, Jennifer.
The what?
Say that again.
The Wellbutrin.
Wellbutrin.
Right.
The bupropion or whatever it was. That's not a documented side effect.
Okay.
Yeah, I to be honest, had no idea where to start. So I took out my handy dandy book and looked at like every single medication that I could find that had anxiety and depression listed for their use. And there was a good list of them. I mean, let me look. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I found 9 that seemed to fit fairly well. And then, as you said, Jennifer, like a lot of them had sexual dysfunction as one of the side effects, common side effects. The other thing that made me a little concerned was that a lot of them also had blood pressure or hypertension as something to watch, which was also noted in that study. So,
he already has that.
Right, he already have that, and he's
so we
taking.
don't want to give something that would raise that even more. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's even part of the questions later on. But even in being able to just talk with him, what would you want to talk with him about in that current problem? Being able to just kind of discuss that with him of, there are other medications that we could try.
Right.
And again, I would refer you to your psychiatrist for higher education in this and making that decision. But I can give you kind of the basics of, here's some of the medications that might come up with your psychiatrist, and here's the pros and cons.
Right.
And just being able to talk about what are the common side effects, and maybe even like make it, I guess, normalize it for him, that having sexual dysfunction with this medication is a common thing, so that it's not like something he's making part of his identity, But
I would ask him why it bothers him. Like what's going on in the relationship. And that I didn't read anything about him being married. Did I miss that?
No, it wasn't in there.
I don't think that's in there. Did it?
So it's like,
I don't know if I would ask him as a male why that's bothering him. I wouldn't personally ask that about.
not like why are but like maybe is this something that you might want to focus on your mental health a little bit more than whatever, something like that. But
like motivational interviewing kind of stuff.
what?
Like just using motivational interviewing to kind of see where he's at in priorities, or
Yeah, prioritize. Try to see if he makes his mental health a higher priority than
sure
sexual connections with people.
I thought about, in the book, it talked about that, and I don't know if I'm gonna say it right, but spironolactone or Bespra, it doesn't have that side effect.
Right.
And I think
that's the Wellbutrin, right? Sorry.
No, that's the
that's not, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a different one.
No.
Buspar is bupropion.
And they said that's the primary medication that they actually prescribe for anxiety. And in the book, it talks about anxiety with depression.
Right.
But that particular side effect is not there.
Did it say anything about blood pressure in that?
No, there's no blood pressure either. It noted up under that one either. So that's the one that I was so safe with talking with him about.
Right.
High blood pressure wasn't there. The problem that he was concerned with wasn't there. And it's like, okay, at least try this. This is the one that I would talk about, at least if I could speak about it, say, hey, this doesn't have the side effect that you're concerned with.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with you. And I've seen it be very not productive, beneficial and in decreasing symptoms. I personally take it, and I've had zero issues with it whatsoever, and it decreases symptoms.
Okay. And I would tell them every person is different in regards to side effects. These are some of the primary side effects, but we will have to closely monitor it with your psychiatrist.
Yeah. But like a high rate of success type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to, Jennifer, you talk about addressing both issues, that's the medication and anxiety. And even I didn't read much about medication other than what he's taking right now is the paroxetine. And I was thinking of maybe adding something else to that. I don't know if anybody thought about that, or we're just thinking about changing the medication altogether.
I was thinking about changing the medication altogether.
Yeah. Okay. Then
he's really focused on symptoms and side effects.
Right.
So change it altogether.
I personally want him to be on as few medications as possible. I'm sure he would too. But you don't want to band-aid the side effects, because then you just keep adding more medication.
So it won't be safe to add to that, maybe in smaller dose.
Be safe, but
maybe not the best.
There's something that's more beneficial for him.
Because why I thought about that was for the one he's taking right now, that is I may not explain it very well, bear with me, but that has the SSRI.
Mm-hmm.
But adding something else to it, like what was in the textbook, like there's the lithium and the benzodiazepine, or whatever. That one is what's the other I forgot what the other one is called now. It's of another class. So you can kind of put both together, because I can't remember how I wrote it down somewhere.
But I don't know if I would want to mix two medications that are both addressing anxiety and depression. I think I would want to try one at a time and see would it work for him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, because the other one has the other one.
I wouldn't do a benzodiazepine.
The one that is an activation of the serotonin, and the other one is the activation of the noradrenergic, whatever, I can't say the word. So I was just thinking, like, would it be safe to do that? And at least the other one is still continue to get the serotonin that he gets, and maybe the benzodiazepine or whatever the Anthony mentioned earlier. I think that's in that class as well. That would kind of I
wouldn't personally I don't prescribe, but I wouldn't recommend a benzodiazepine unless he has panic attacks.
Oh, okay.
Or a super low dose of like Valium.
Okay.
But if he's just having generalized anxiety, well, it says anxiety disorder, NOS,
Mm-hmm.
depression,
Mhm.
there's no reason really why he should be on a benzodiazepine.
Well, it sounds
Right.
like the one anxiety medication that he's taking is taking care of those symptoms.
Right.
It's the side effects that is his concern. So I would be more interested in trying to find maybe one medication that wouldn't be giving him side effects. But I don't know that he needs more medication to help with the first symptoms, the symptoms of anxiety.
Right.
Um,
You see,
So
I
just-
see that.
just
I see that. I see that currently with some of the clients where they're taking so much medications for the inflammation, and so I wouldn't want to try that with him. I would like to start afresh,
mhm.
you know. And I still don't get the half life and all that, but I know that the Buspar, whatever. Yeah, its half life is like 2 and 3 hours, and then the one that he's taking is like, I thought it said like 20 hours. So I don't know how that correlates as far as the recommendation as to how much he should be taking as far as that one. But I'm still trying to grasp that mentally. I'm still trying to grasp that. But again, I'm just like Jennifer and Alicia, give him one medication.
just stay with one. Okay.
Right.
I like what you're thinking, though, Rachel. I like your thoughts.
I just thought I was like,
And a lot of
maybe just
people
add
would
something that, I
recommend
don't know.
an
Then,
SSRI and a benzodiazepine. That's a common combination.
Right. So I
But
just thought that
with
we safer to
him,
do that way.
and I don't know what his culture is. I don't know what his
Don't know
ethnicity
anything.
is.
Yeah.
So I don't know
So
what he's open to.
to address the other issue of the anxiety as well, I mean, you guys can come in with what you think, but I wrote down here that kind of course you're going to be listening to him, like supporting him through his kind of validating whatever he's reporting, then kind of take him through psychoeducation on anxiety in general. Since this is not the first time he's having that, he's always had that, like he's like with his work and all of that, he's stressed from work and having all of that medical issues, then coming down to having anxiety about medication side effects. So it would be nice to kind of just take him through psychoeducation and let him understand how anxiety works. Maybe introduce CBT, you know, and just to kind of help him work on his mind. So what do you guys think?
I thought about that also, Rachel. I thought about doing some teaching him some meditation, breathing exercises because of his anxiety and because of the type of work he do. I understand it, and I try to be empathetic because of his livelihood depends on him getting commission. You know,
Right.
so I understand the stress. So somehow continue to encourage him to come to counseling, because counseling with medication, you know, is important to help him hopefully wean him off of the medication, you know,
Right.
to teach him different techniques in order to calm him down as far
Like
as
how to, like coping techniques, yeah.
coping techniques, and also talk about the fears of not meeting his commission, you know, because his success, when he has success according to the case, he is great, but it's probably when that commission doesn't come or that commission is short, you know. So,
Really quick though, to go back to number 1, to address the problem where he's hesitant to go back to the psychiatrist because of the copay. Like we
So he has financial issues there too, yeah.
that he can, like a psychiatrist can just call in or send in a different prescription. We can just talk about the pros and cons. And we can ask the psychiatrist about the medications that were discussed.
Okay.
Just in case that we need
So,
it.
I
okay.
think one more with that number 1 before we switch. If you look up the paroxetine, it does say, where did it go? That it's important not to stop abruptly because there could be a withdrawal syndrome. So just to make sure to put that out there as well, that I know that this is an embarrassing thing. It's something that you're embarrassed by. It's something, you know, and walk through that with him to just stress the importance of not stopping it abruptly, but being willing to talk through that with his psychiatrist to see what the next step would be, just for his overall well-being.
Yeah.
It would be important to stress that.
Anything that works with the GABA receptors, like, because a lot of them are anti-epileptic or anti-seizure medications. If you just stop those, they can cause seizures.
Can cause seizures, yeah.
Even in people that are not prone to seizures.
Yeah, I had a client a while ago before we started all this, and I learned any of this, that was telling me that his medication is actually known for helping with seizures.
Yeah.
And so reading this, I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah, and so then he stopped drinking and he stopped taking his medication all at the same time and had quite a few seizures within a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now reading this, it's like, that makes sense.
Well, like people that, like at our facility, we won't take anybody that's going through withdrawal from benzodiazepines.
Really?
Withdrawal can be so physiologically, we aren't, we're not that high of a care for that. And we're not medically staffed for that. They have to refer them. Crazy looking at them.
Okay, guys, let's move on to
so with one, we're saying we're going to educate him, talk about the medication that would not cause that symptom, that he can discuss with the psychiatrist.
The psychiatrist, yes, yeah.
And let him know that he can't just be taking cold turkey off of what he's already.
Right, he can't just go off of it. So he has to discuss that with the psychiatrist to kind of wean him off of it slowly.
Okay, so we're in agreement with that.
Right.
Anything else? Okay.
And yeah, he can't do both medications, so he can't take two. He has to like stop that and then start on a new one. Yeah.
So the psychiatrist, a lot of times what they do is step one down and up another, so that once the bloodstream, like the half-life is even when this one comes out.
Sure.
Right. Okay, so I guess we just move on to question 2.
Let's do it.
Sounds like we pretty much answered some of the things there, but you guys want to answer? So describe at least 2 medication strategies a psychiatrist may try with Alan. I feel like we already talked about that. So anybody want to talk about that?
The paroxetine.
So that again?
Right.
Using the buspirone.
Say that again.
I didn't hear you. Say that again.
The paroxetine. And then increase, like, recommending the buspirone.
Buspirone.
Right.
Take him off the paroxetine. Okay.
So there was a couple other ones that I found when I was looking in the book.
Okay.
The Doxepin also had watch out for blood pressure. The Loxetine, I think, same with blood pressure. Escitalopram. It's I don't know.
Names are tongue twisters.
Right? It had sexual dysfunction. So probably not on
that went off, right?
Right.
And that's Lexapro, and actually, I've seen a lot of men not handle Lexapro well.
So let's cross that out.
Okay, so sorry guys, I'm going to play the tape back again. It says take him off of paroxetine and recommend what? What is it, Jen?
Buspirone. B-U-S.
Can you spell that?
B-U-S.
B-U-S.
P-A-R.
P-A-R. Oh, okay. Use per.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I got you in the chat.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
So then looking at it, there seemed to be another one that was actually a possibility, the mirtazapine, I don't know. It looked like it would actually be all right. Again, psychiatrists should probably talk with him about it, but you'd want to check for a history of seizures or suicidality in the past to make sure that he's not in either of those categories. So I thought that was interesting, could check it out. And then there was one, I don't know what you guys thought, so I want to see what you guys think. So the nortriptyline, it says it actually causes hypotension.
Nortriptyline?
Yeah.
Tripling.
So I was kind of wondering, like, I wonder what that would do with someone who's taking beta blockers and struggling with hypertension. I'd like to talk to a psychiatrist and even see what they would say, how that affects both things.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I would be a little nervous about. I mean, I would talk with the psychiatrist about that, but I don't know if I would recommend it because he already has high blood pressure.
Well, it's the opposite. So it'd be the opposite. So that's why I was kind of interested. Like, I wonder how that would affect both, you know?
Right. And it's something to talk about, you know?
I think that's why he's talking to the psychiatrist. So that would like kind of help give him the right one based on his medical history.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the psychiatrist will know better not to either give him something that would affect his already ongoing history, kind of, you know, to stay away from anything that would affect the hypertension. So yeah, I guess we better just have him talk to the psychiatrist, share all of his concerns and all of that. So
yeah, well, and that's nice that we have a doctor working with us, right? That knows this stuff.
We're spending into an early grade if we don't know what we're doing.
So what is the second medication then you would want to try? There's two.
So you said the
I said mirtazapine. I can put it in the chat. I'll type them both in the chat.
Right.
Okay.
I got you.
It's for GA. It's for general anxiety disorder and major
depressive symptoms. Correct.
Right. Symptoms. And he's exercising. It talks about weight gain and stuff like that, which isn't a concern.
Correct.
Here, you know.
Well, and it might be important to talk with him about that being a side effect and a possibility for him to weigh out.
Yeah, I mean, definitely share all of the side effects with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, since he does exercise, which helps contribute to controlling his high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So, will we agree that may be the second one?
Okay. All of this medication that we're mentioning, because his concern is the sexual problem. Well, it sounds like we're just talking about all of the side effects. But what happens? All of those medications that you mentioned, Alisa, would they affect his impotence and delayed ejaculation? Because that's what his concern is.
No. Right. So I went through the medication that I could find in this book that would focus on both depressive symptoms and anxiety symptoms. And then I ruled out any of the ones that would have sexual dysfunction or that it would have any impact on the hypertension or high blood pressure. And so there was only a couple that seemed to fit that bill without having any of those effects. Obviously, these also have different side effects, though. So kind of what Anthony was saying. So you've got another statement. Right.
Okay.
All right, number 3.
Question 3.
In addressing this problem with Alan, what medication? Oh, sorry, Rachel.
In addressing this problem with Alan, what medications may require at least temporary monitoring of his blood pressure? Oh, we just talked about. Okay.
SSRIs.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
SSRIs.
Okay.
Pretty much everything that
is SSRIs, yeah. Because that would raise the blood pressure, right?
It can.
Okay. Anything else?
I think we kind of ruled out the ones that specifically say hypertension is an issue. In number 2.
But which one? It asks which ones they would need to monitor.
I got a list for you if you want some.
Go for it.
I can't say them, so I'm going to type them to you.
Okay. So that means if he's going to take the one you just wrote that said causes hypertension. Oh, you said hypo?
Hyper is what he has, yeah. And the other one has hypo, so.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of safe. He has hyper. Okay. That I did not put anything down there, so I don't know what to say.
Which, what?
Oh, I'm just saying for question 3, I didn't really.
Neurotriptyline.
Nortriptyline.
Okay.
Okay.
So Rachel,
So that next list is the ones that I got that like definitely had hypertension issues that you want to monitor, if you even want to put them on them.
Doxepin.
Duloxetine.
Rachel, do you know you can copy and paste that chat?
Right.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'm just.
It'd be way quicker than.
Okay.
Who came up with these names?
I know, it's like.
So if the psychiatrist were to put him on all or either of these, so that we have to he has to monitor that, or
Right. Yeah.
Okay. We have to monitor that as therapist. Okay.
And then our last question.
And so we just reached the 9-minute mark, just so you guys know.
Okay, last question. Of the options listed in number 2, pick one and note what you would tell Alan about the side effects likely in that option.
And I, like I said, I chose the Burospar, and I said, the side effects is headache, dizziness, GI upset, sometimes anxiety and tension, which we'll have to closely monitor since, anxiety is the issue that brought him into the office. So I decided to select that one and discuss the side effects in detail with him, and then he can discuss them with the psychiatrist.
The psychiatrist. Okay. Okay. So
I completely agree.
Okie doke. I guess that's it. Let's see if I got something now, but I'm gonna watch the video again.
I'll time tonight for you.
Thank you.
So he had dizziness, drowsiness, blurred vision. You can look in the book. It has some more nausea, rashes, and sweating.
That's the side effect of the Buspar.
Yeah. Okay. And so we just need to make sure we discuss it in detail with him, and then tell him, he can discuss it. Make sure he discusses it with his psychiatrist if it's something that he will be trying. So he can monitor it closely with us as well as with the psychiatrist.
I would also make sure that we remind him that it can take a few weeks for some of those side effects to go away.
Right. Yeah.
Because he may take something, oh my gosh, I'm having this side effect, I shouldn't be taking it.
Right. That's good.
And even with the side effect, he cannot just stop taking the medication. He has to report to the therapist and psychiatrist. Right. All right, and let's see. The question 3, we talk about what was the question again? I don't have a problem with Alan. We monitor all of the SSRIs. You said, Jennifer.
Yeah, and then the other ones that Alyssa listed. Yeah,
Alyssa said the hypertension medical issues. You want to have hypertension issues.
Right.
Right. The one you put in the chat.
Right. And then
I think I spelled it right.
Yeah, I think we got everything. For question 2, to take him off of paroxetine and recommend Buspar, whatever. If I don't say, you know what I mean. Check for history of suicide, and we talk about the recommended metazapine as well, and all of that. Okay. So yeah, I think I got it.
And when I was going through this chapter and reading this, the Bible verse that came to me and that I read was Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything.
Did you read the article? That was in the article too.
Huh?
That was in the week article. Did you read the article for the week?
I didn't.
We talk about anxiety. Yeah. Yeah, that was there too. Philippians 4:13 or 6.
4:6-7.
4:6-7. Yeah, that was in the article. Be anxious for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make your request to God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll use that.
So I thought of it this week. The last week, the other weeks we talked about it from our perspective. I thought about it from his perspective this week versus from the counselor's perspective.
Right.
And I was just thinking about anxiety as the focus for our biblical scripture.
Right. Because that just to kind of say quickly about the article, it kind of it talked about what anxiety is, gave a little bit of history, then it just kind of brought in from a biblical point of view, you know, like just as a Christian, trusting in Christ's promise of peace, and just having that peace of mind. I mean, like the word is quote unquote, I mean, I'm not quoting that, just to paraphrase, the word is like crazy enough as it is with all the changes in technology and all of that, and we can only come to find peace in Christ. So I thought that was interesting. I just kind of scanned through that.
Okay.
And we're able to like put both together. Yeah, you guys should just read that. It's interesting.
One thing to address the therapy side of it, Proverbs 17:22. A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. Let's leave room for Dr. Mark if she has anything to say.
Yeah, I'm here.
There we go. First, well done, and just another good discussion. You had some. I like the way you all are thinking. I had a couple points. One of the things that's really helpful, and you may have already thought this, and if I missed it, it's just I'm going to blame it on it's 8 o'clock where I am. But think about the dosage that someone started on, and when he started on with like Paxil, basically, he started, and 20 milligrams is. They start a lot of times for depression 20 milligrams, and it can increase at 10 milligrams a week. So it was helping him, and so that's really a pretty standard dose, and so that might affect some of your thinking about it. It's like, well, he's had a standard dose, and I don't know if going down will help, so maybe changing medication is a good answer. And you guys were talking about his thoughts and everything. So one of the things you can do in counseling is help him with finances. And find out, I mean, this guy may be blowing his money when it comes and not saving for a rainy day. And so also, his hypertension is what's essential is it's unknown. So they don't know why he has it, and he manages it. But, he's a single guy. We don't know if he really eats right. So you might think about just that aspect of it.
Hypertension could be from like stress and anxiety too, right?
And stress and anxiety,
yeah.
exactly.
So if that went away, the hypertension could go away essentially. Is that correct?
Might go down. Well, they don't know what caused it, but so I would really be thinking about a plan with him for his finances. Some people cannot handle getting a chunk of money all at once. So just helping him budget out what he has, that might be a really big help. And remember, a lot of what we do is help people talk to their doctors. We help empower them. Anyway, great job. I do want to share, I think I've posted this book already in the lounge. I cannot recommend it highly enough. How to Think Like a Psychiatrist. Tells, like, for example, real simple here. How do benzodiazepines work?
Awesome.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
We should have had that as a textbook.
Right?
Yeah. So look at it. It will really help you. It'll help you communicate with doctors and your clients. Another really, really good one is called Clinical Psychopharmacology Made Ridiculously Simple, and it's been updated for the DSM-5. And what this will also tell you is diseases and disorders that can cause psychosis. And it helps you common disorders that cause anxiety, drugs that may cause anxiety, symptoms of anxiety, for example. So I really recommend this.
Okay.
And what this talks about is the two camps of biology versus psychology. So psychiatry is our psychiatric disorders. Do they have an organic basis, or are they psychologically oriented? And so there's nobody's solved that discussion yet, but I really recommend these two books to help you